Okay. Greetings and welcome to the Town Council meeting, Tuesday, July 16th, 2024, 6 p.m., plus or minus. And we have nothing to report out from closed session. And so that's done. So let's open up do the opening ceremonies. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Abel.
Here.
Dennison.
Dennison here.
Drodes.
Here.
Schooler.
Here.
And Mayor Lombardo.
Here. We're going to stand and you'll join me in the pledge. Apparently, I got it wrong at the concert in the park, apparently. I don't recall, but we got a nastygram on the email that said I changed the wording, and I'm not aware of it, but let's see if it works this time. And then please remain standing. There'll be a prayer, invocation given by Pastor Casey Kuhlman of the Calvary Baptist Church. I assume he's here. Yes, okay. So please stand, place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think I did it right. Okay. Please lead us in prayer.
Gracious God and Father, we are grateful for another unpromised day that you have given to us freely of your grace. We are thankful.
There you go.
We are thankful to live also in a nation that gives us the freedom even to gather here tonight. We're thankful for our city, Yucca Valley, and all of the families and individuals that make up this city. And though our nation and though our city is imperfect, Lord, we have much to be thankful for, many blessings untold. And we ask, Father, that your grace would permeate every part of this town council meeting tonight, that everything said and done would be in a manner that is pleasing to you, helpful to others. And Lord, we are thankful for the mayor and the council members, for law enforcement, for first responders. Lord, we pray for their protection. We pray for their provisions. There is much behind the scenes, behind the curtain that we do not understand, that we do not know, many stresses, many decisions. And Lord, help us to be grateful, to be thankful, to uplift them in prayer throughout the day and throughout the week. And we pray, Father, that you would give wisdom and guidance in this meeting now, for your honor and for your glory. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Everybody have a seat. So we get to start off with presentations, introductions, and recognitions. And first on the list is the introduction of new employees.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. At this time, we have a few new employees that we would like to introduce. And Sue, I will start with you and your department. Christine, if you could please come up to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you.
This evening, I'd like to introduce Christine Lanson, who is our new Recreation Coordinator for the town of Yucca Valley. Originally, this is actually a promotion. Christine was hired in 2022 as a part-time seasonal recreation assistant. She was quickly promoted to a recreation leader in 2022-23. She's worked as a part-time helping at all of our programs while continuing her teaching job at Sacred Heart School. So talk about a dynamo. She's working full-time and working for us as well. As a recreation leader, she successfully led our We Hoops program in 23-24 during our very busy basketball season. Her previous experience includes roles as a preschool teacher, coordinator of a youth ministry, PE teacher for grades K through 8 at Sacred Heart School in Palm Desert. She also assisted the athletic director with tournaments and regional track meets, And she's also, on top of all of that, a mother of 4 and brings valuable experience in managing and engaging with youth to our squad. So we are thrilled to have her on our staff. And so tonight I'd like to introduce her. Christine, would you like to say a few words?
I just wanted to thank the town of Yucca Valley. I'm super excited to be here. As Sue said, I've been working with this department, so I was very excited to be able to apply for a full-time position and just really thrilled to be here. So thank you.
We're lucky to have you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next, if we could have Edward come up to the podium, please.
Okay.
Hi.
He'll get
I like
there,
it.
I promise.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's my pleasure, extreme pleasure, to introduce to you the newest member to the Public Works team, joining our Facilities Department part-time, the Maintenance Worker 1 position. We have Edward Grantham. Edward has many years of experience working with computers, so if they need help right there, he's there to help. Edward have many years with working for Best Buy as a geek squad. So he's not a geek, but he's one of the people that used to fix your computers at home when you call them. I would like also to mention that Edward is a longtime resident of Yucca Valley. So we look forward for working with us and his joining to the Public Works team. Welcome, Edward. Do you want to say a couple words?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good evening, everyone. I really appreciate all the warm welcome. It's been fantastic meeting everyone new, and I'm very excited to work with the community. And thank you for the opportunity in hiring me. And hopefully I see how far it takes me. Thank you.
Welcome to the family.
All right, and finally, last but not least, sitting behind me, Jessica is going to introduce Benjamin.
Benjamin. Okay.
Okay. Hi, we're back here. I wanted to introduce Ben Hudgens. He is the newest member of our AV team. Ben grew up in Palm Springs and in 29 Palms, and he moved to Phoenix and got his bachelor's degree, and then he met his wife when he moved back to 29 Palms, and that's where he resides now. Wow. He most recently worked in IT with the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians, as well as a graphic designer for the Marine Corps Community Services on base. Ben has really caught on quickly, and we are really looking forward to his contributions on the AV team.
Very
Ben,
good.
do you want to say anything?
Hi, guys. It's good to meet everybody. Just let me know if you need anything I can help out with.
All right. Good to have you on board. All right. When are we going to introduce Travis, our new battalion chief? Is that at this time or later? Please come forward and let us meet our new battalion chief.
Good evening.
Is it working?
There we go. I got the green light. Good evening. I introduced him to a couple of you guys. You might have seen him out and about. Travis Gary is one of our newest battalion chiefs. We got 2 new ones. We got Jeff Allen, and when he's on duty at the same time we have a council, I'll bring him. And then we also have Donnie, Donnie's been with us for quite a while. Travis, I've known Travis since he was 18 years old. So for me to get him out here was huge, right? Travis has been with the organization close to 20 years, extensive. He promoted through all the ranks in County Fire. He originally started with Victorville Fire Department, and Victorville transitioned to County back in 2008 or 9. Travis was a fireman, younger fireman, and went to engineer to captain, or engineer then captain, and just recently to battalion chief. He spent most of his career up in the high desert, out in Phelan, Station 10 area, but he's been Fontana, San Bernardino, he's been all over the place, as everyone with the either county sheriffs or county fire, right? We kind of bounce around and make our way everywhere. So I'll let Travis go a little bit more. But he's kind of running he's establishing our Explorer programs back into these areas here in 29. We're getting 2 of them going. He's going to be our community outreach guy. So the stuff I've tasked him with is kind of getting out of the community and reaching out to the CERT teams and seeing what we have. I know they're out there and established, but they just kind of have been forgotten about a little bit, at least from our side. So we want to make sure we get back into that, and having a full staff again of chiefs is going to help us get into those arenas a little bit. So I'll let Travis go a little bit.
Good evening. As Chief Villarino said, I've been with the county for many years now. Very honored and just humbled that I get to come out here and serve this great community. Everybody so far has just been super welcoming and has just welcomed me with open arms, and I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity. As Chief Villarino said, one of my first priorities will be to reestablish an Explorer program. I think that we all felt the effects of COVID, and we saw just really how it limited opportunities for engagement for our teenagers and our kids, and just to pursue a career either in the fire service or even in the sheriff's department, law enforcement. We really want to get back into the communities, we want to get back into the schools, and we want to really reestablish that pathway for these kids. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. We've already started setting out timelines, and my goal is to be in the schools by back to school night and having the ability for them to get applications in and for us to interview and get these kids involved. So, thank you.
Great. Sounds like worthy goals. Okay. I will bring it back to the council. Approval of the agenda. Anybody?
Mayor, I'll approve the agenda as prepared.
Okay. Do I have a
Second that.
All right.
Councilmember Abel,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Schooler,
Yes.
and Mayor Lombardo.
Yes. Okay. On the consent agenda, we have all items are listed on the consent agenda are routine matters or formal documents covering previous town council instruction. Items are enacted in one motion and a second without separate discussion unless a member of the town council or the town staff requests dialogue on a specific item at the beginning of the meeting. Requests for public comments on the consent agenda items should be filed with the town clerk. That's Brooke over there in the corner. And let's go. We have items 3 through 12 on the consent agenda item. Is there any public comment? No. Okay. Is there anybody that wants to discuss any items on the consent agenda items? No. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mayor, if there's no further discussion, I'll go ahead and approve the consent agenda as prepared, items 3 through 12.
Okay.
I will second that.
Councilmember Abel,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Schooler,
Yes.
and Mayor Lombardo.
Yes. All righty. On to item number 13. That's the 2024-25 through 2028-29 5-year capital improvement program as recommended by the Planning Commission. So bring it on.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item before you tonight is the 5-year capital improvement program, and the recommendation is that, as recommended by the Planning Commission, finds that the projects are exempt from CEQA in accordance with Section 15378B4 and Section 15061B3 of the California Environmental Quality Act. The Capital Improvement Program CIP is not a project, nor is there possibility of a significant effect on the environment from the program. Further, the CIP does not result in any commitment to any specific projects, and that the Town Council adopt the 5-year capital improvement programs for fiscal year 24-25 through 29-30. The capital improvement program is a short-range 5-year plan which identifies capital projects, provides a planning schedule, and identifies options for financing the program. The projects included in the 5-year CIP implement the general plan goals, policies, and programs by delivering infrastructure in the areas of traffic and pedestrian safety, affordable housing units, parks and recreation facilities, and flood control improvement. The first section we would like to discuss is the streets and highway projects. First project we have for you, Council, is the Yucca Trail widening from Palomar Avenue to La Contenta Road. This project consists of widening Yucca Trail by providing a shoulder on eastbound and westbound lanes. Additionally, the project will include concrete head walls for 4 wash outlets for water crossing over Yucca Trail and additional streetlights. The limit for this project is Yucca Trail from Avalon Palomar Avenue to La Contenda Road. As you may recall, Council, the town have successfully obtained HSIP grants a long time ago, about 6-7 years ago, to widen the other stretch of the Yucca Trail between Palomar and I think Warren Vista. So that was successful, and that is widened at this point of time. Funding for the project. So the design phase is, according to the document that we have for in our budget, we have allocated $200,000 of Measure I funds for that project, for the design phase of this project. And we have succeeded to secure SPCTA through the Rural Mountain Desert Sub-Areas Major Local Highway Projects Program, $4.8 million for the construction of this project.
Nice.
So that is a commitment that was done by SPCTA in their June 14, 2024, for the Mountain Desert Committee agenda item. It was committed for that fund for that project.
Great.
The next project we have is the Palm Avenue widening and parking lot. And basically what is the project is include the widening of Palm Avenue along the construction of curb, gutter, sidewalk, driveway approaches, EDA ramps, installation of AC pavement. The project will also include the additional parking lot on the southeast corner of Palm Avenue and Sunland Drive. Also, the project will include some, storm drain projects so that it can convey some of the water that affecting the Prim Park from time to time. The limit for the project are from Sunny Slope to Drive to 62. So the funding for this project at this point of time, we are allocated $150,000 for the design from the town Measure I, and the construction funding will be determined in a later date. When we find out the estimate, figure out the money, then we'll come back to the council to amend the CIP to add the funding for this project. The next project we have is the Yucca Mesa widening Buena Vista intersection, which is, as you may know, that intersection is the hub for the truckers. It is used heavily by truckers that is try to avoid the grade, and it has been deteriorated to a point right now that is it need to be redone. So what we're proposing with this project is we're proposing to widen the intersection of Buena Vista and Yucca Mesa, and also pave, maybe concrete, pave the intersection itself, so the deterioration of the asphalt will take longer time before it deteriorated. Bear in mind that this intersection also, it is a shared intersection between the town and the county of San Bernardino. So we'll be working with the county to secure some of the funding from their side to deliver this project. At this point of time, we have allocated $100,000 from Measure I for the design, and then at a later date, we will determine the funding source for the construction of this project. The next project that we have is the Indio Avenue realignment and extension from Yucca Trail to 62. And honestly, this is a dear project to my heart. I tried to do that before I left the first time, but I was not successful, so I'm trying it again. So at this point of time, it is, we have, the project will include the realignment of Indio Avenue along with pavement extension to State Route 62. It will include curb, gutter, sidewalk improvement, ADA ramps, and lighting will be included as part of this project. There is some right-of-way dedications that will need to be addressed. However, gaining accessibility from State 62 will increase commercial development on surrounding properties. So this project is scheduled to start the design portion of it in the next year, the next fiscal year, not this year. And that is, we have secured Measure I, $250,000 for the design. We also secured SPCTA funding of $9 million to construct that project. At this point of time, this is a proposed in their list, but we'll work out to make it as committed as we go through the discussion with SPCTA. The next project we have for you is Onaga Trail Extension, Kickapoo Trail to Camino del Cielo Trail. And this is a project also dear to a lot of people's heart. That is, we tried that before, but we were unsuccessful because of funding. But this project also, will give the resident of the Yucca Valley another alternate to using the highway, and that is will connect Onaga from Kickapoo all the way to Camino del Cielo.
Wow.
And the project also include the asphalt, concrete design, curb gutter, and lighting on that option too. And the funding for this project also is a 25-26 project. The design will start then. We have secured Measure I funding of $250,000, and also SPCTA have not committed but have proposed $12,600,000 for this project.
Wow.
So we would like to thank SPCTA for their generous contribution to our project. We jump in the bandwagon earlier so we can secure all this funding for the town and the town residents. The next project we have for you tonight is the 62 widening from Sage Avenue to Airway Avenue. And that project, at this point of time, we are working with SPCTA on an agreement. The town does not have the personnel, or does not have the staff or the ability to deliver this project to the town residents and to the council. So what we did is we had discussed an agreement with SPCTA to take over the whole project from design, environmental, right-of-way acquisition to construction.
Wow.
And that is that we, at this point of time, the contract is in their legal counsel, court to review. After that, it will come for us, for the town, and for our legal counsel to review. And that is, they are predicting that this will be approved by their board in the September-October meeting of this year. So let me talk about the funding for this project. The funding for this project also, there is a development impact fund that is part of this project, which is $400,000, and then local transportation fund of $250,000, and SPCA have committed $41,500,000 for this project. So we are very proud and we are very happy with what we got so far in these projects with SPCTA. And I again like to echo that thank them for the support that is they given to the town. The next project we have for you is the berm repairs and replacement. And due to a large amount of damage to public roadways from wear and tear over the years, the town will be performing asphalt berm repairs as deemed necessary. The work to be performed consistent of installation of rolled asphalt berms and or repair of existing asphalt berms and all related work. There is approximately 2,500,000 linear foot of missing damaged berms within the town limit. The money that we have for this project does not address the whole thing, but it will address the most important thing, that is staff thing that is need to be repaired at this point of time to prevent flooding from streets. We have a total of $500,000 for this project that come from highway tax use and the development impact fund, which is going to be changed because after the adoption of the budget, we find out that the development impact fund cannot be used for these kind of projects. So we are looking for another source of fund for it, and that money will go back to the highway expansion and 62 widening.
Okay.
The next project we have is the town crack and Cape Seal and crack seal. And this is a project that is the town council have heard about it too many times. It is our way of preventing more damages to the road by preserving it at this point of time. Program like that usually repeated every 7 years. For this year, we have $1,140,000 came from RMRA funds and Measure I funds to address this this project. The areas, could be eyesight challenge, but this is the areas where we are steady seeding for this year. Usually, we would like to start this project when the school is out, so it will not affect the schooling. So you'll see that project coming to you hopefully by next summer. So for the next row is that we talk about the parks and recreation facilities. For the first project that we have for you is the Prop 68 Aquatic and Recreation Center. And as you all know, that is the project is to install an indoor pool with gymnasium. And it's about 3,700 single-story building. And at this point of time, there is the project has been awarded. Staff and our consultant are working with the contractors on the submittals, on their RFIs, their questions about the project. They are last time we talked to the contractor, they are projecting to start this work mid to end of August of this year. So we are very excited about this project. We are camp rotation. This is the funding that went into this project. As you can see, there is a park fund grant of $20,350,000. There is 2022 debt service funds of $16,150,000. There is ARPA funding, and thanks to our representative, county representative, Don Ra, for the $5 million that she committed for this project. Capital project funds of $3.5 million, Measure Y of $1.5 million, and solar program loan of $2.5 million. Development impact fund of $1 million give you a total of $50 million for this project. As you all know, the project was awarded to the lowest bidder, and it stands at this point of time at $41 million and a change. $41,500,000, I'm sorry. Next project we have is the Old Town Beautification and Sustainability Project. This is what the rendering you see right now, that is after we completely with everything that we have on our list, our wish list for that project to be delivered. But this is what we're building right now. As you all know, that is the project have started and the contractor has been working in this project. We are expecting this project to be completed by the end of November. The funding for this project came from multiple, capital project reserve of $3 million and Measure Y of $250,000 for a total project of $3.25 million. This is the future phasing concept plan that is we talked about. And what we are doing, what we're going to be doing with money that is left over from the funding, we are working with the consultant that designed the first phase to give us a proposal to design the second phase and see how that played out in the future.
Nice.
The next project we have is the community center athletic facility, which is basically the construction of 14 pickleball court in community center here. And it will also include a new basketball court and parking lot that is to accommodate the people and the players for the pickleball court. And it's also address the future of our skate park. We have multiple community meetings with everybody involved in this project, came up with a concept that you see before you right now. What we are planning to do is we received $1.6 million from ARPA funds for this project that does not, unfortunately, address the whole project as we envision it, but it will address some build of the court. So at this point of time, we have not yet determined how the extent of the bid is or the extent of the construction, but that what you see there is what we're trying to deliver to the community. And again, the community have decided that is the skate park that we have now is not good enough and need to be replaced with a little bit bigger than what it is right now. So what we are working toward that. Again, the ARPA funding that is brought to us by our representative supervisor, Don Ra, for $1.6 million on this project. The next project we have is the Yucca Valley Sports Complex Master Plan. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to master plan the area where we're going to be having our aquatic center, where the Boys and Girls Club is, Tri-Valley, and to see how can we deliver a better and aesthetic looking and something that is the whole community can enjoy. I'm not going to talk too much about this project because we are planning to bring it, that consultant can come to the council and explain the whole project and what is we come up with and what is the results of for our residents when we have the community meeting and what their thoughts and that is what is the final products will look like and how is the phasing with this project going to go and with the preliminary construction costs that is maybe we can program in the future, in the next years. And then the next project that we have is the Macros Park, concrete and playground equipment replacement. That's a simple project that is, we are planning to replace the basketball court. As you may recall, that court was supposedly to be serviced last year, but because the deterioration in the court and the concrete was severe, we have opted not to do it and to replace it. And also the playground equipment we have at that park is old, is more than 25 years old, and it does not meet standards. So we are planning to replace that as part of this project too. The funding for this project comes from Measure Y of $200,000. The next one is the Medical League Field Service Replacement. As you know, that is the medical field is the field or the servicing that is in it has been deteriorating in a way that it's in some areas it's beyond fixing. And we keep putting money to fix it, which is cost a lot of money. So we came up with a project that we can replace the whole service and that can last us another 10, 20 years, hopefully, without any issues. So the funding also for this project of $150,000 come from Measure Y.
Gotta love that Measure Y.
Yes. The next set of projects we would like to talk to you about is the Public Facilities Project. And that is the first one is the Senior Center Improvement Phase 2 project, which, as you might know, it is the renovation of the entrance, the restrooms, and also renovation of the offices that we have at the senior center. This is a phase 2 of the project. That phase 1 of the project was the kitchen equipment and kitchen improvement, and that has been done about I'm thinking 2 years ago, Shane? 2 years? 2 years ago. And this is now the phase 2 project. The status of this project at this point of time, it is in the final design stages. We are expecting to receive final plans for review and consider bidding on it by the end of this month. So Holt Architectural did a very good job on this project, and we are working with them. That's also including, the project will also include the painting of the exterior of the senior center, also some signage. So people can identify that is the senior center. And also it's going to be including some ADA ramps and ADA access to the building. The funding for this project comes from ARPA funds, that is $998,000, and CDBG fund of $500,000 on this project. Next project we have for you is the California Welcome Center roof replacement. And that is just simple project that is the California Welcome Center roofing system has been failing. and it's costing a lot of money to repair also. So we have decided to have a project for just to replace the whole roofing, and we will be replacing it with a membrane roof, same thing that we are using on the aquatic center project, and that funding is about $200,000 to do so, and that is come from Measure Y funds. The next project we have is the Town Services Consolidation and Public Meeting Space Project. And that is basically the new town hall that we are been talking about. And that is to renovate the existing town hall, the old library, and additional of 1,700 square foot area. That is where we will have the council chamber. And staff will be hosted, all staff will be hosted at the town hall when this project is completed. This project also, will give a one-stop shop for our residents. When they would like to do business with the town, they can go to one place. They do not have to go between town hall and Business Center Drive where Public Works and Community Development are located. And also will have, will be also including with this project, the parking. As you can see, we're going to be extending the parking all the way to include the museum. That will be part of the parking. Also, as part of this project, we will have monument sign, luscious somehow, landscaping just to bring up the area, and also will include EV charging station on that project for electrical vehicles. The funding for this project at this point of time, we have a development impact fund of $1 million, and we have 2022 debt services funds of $3.5 million, and capital project fund of $2.5 million for a total of $7 million to do this project. Wow. The status of this project currently that we are expecting plans to be checked and looked at by the end of this month. Also, and then will be our first take, our first plan check, and then after that we'll return it, and hopefully by the end of the year we have a document that the project is ready for bidding and bid the project and see where we stand. The next project we have for you is the 62 beautification monument sign. As you all know, that is Parks and Recreation have a call for artists to design the monumentation sign. What you see here, the monumentation that you see here, this is an old one that we used before, but is not necessarily going to be the one. I just put it there just to give you an idea of what is the monumentation going to look like. So hopefully when our staff and our Parks Recreation come up with the artist and the concept and approved by the council, we'll go ahead with design and then go ahead with the installation of these monument signs. We have $435,000 from Measure Y to deliver this project.
Very nice.
So if you noticed that is when we talked about the CIP, we have not talked about any dirt road. And just as I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, this is a planning tool. CIP is a planning tool, and it only carries a project that have the policies, have direction from council, and also have funding attached to it. So at the town council meeting of March 19, 2024, the town council gave direction to staff to begin addressing dirt road maintenance alternatives. Current council policy requires roads to be paved to town standards to be considered for acceptance by the town for maintenance purposes. Town staff will be returning to the council this fall to address policy alternatives for dirt road maintenance at a town-wide perspective. There are 4 primary areas served by dirt roads within the town. And I'm going to bring up the map that we have. As you can see that we have dirt road as much as we have maintained road. So we have a lot. So we will be addressing that with the council in the fall with another item for the council to consider. So the recommendation before you tonight, as recommended by the Planning Commission, finds the project is exempt from CEQA in accordance with Section 15378B4 and Section 15061B3 of the California Environmental Equality Act. The capital program CIP is not a project, nor is there possibility of a significant effect on the environment from the program. Further, the CIP does not result in a commitment to any specific projects, and that the town council adopts the 5-year capital improvement program for fiscal years 24-25 through 29-30. That concludes staff report, and I'll be more than happy to answer any question following public comments.
Okay. Wow, doesn't look like you could add any more projects into there. That's a pretty full agenda. Is there any questions from the public?
Mayor Lombardo, I do have a request to speak from Andrea.
Okay.
And she did provide a photo earlier, and I did distribute that.
Got it, thank you. Hi, Andrea.
How these work sometimes. Okay, good evening, Mayor, Town Council, and staff. My name is Andrea Staley, and I have been a resident of Yucca Valley for 40 years. I spoke back in March regarding the dirt road situation, and I'm here today to speak about the opposition I have for the proposed 5-year CIP, specifically as it relates to dirt roads. As you have read, the staff report explicitly states that the 5-year CIP does not include adding dirt roads into the maintained road system. As you may recall, in March of this year, there was a lengthy discussion with over 20 residents regarding the dirt road, and council acknowledged the issue and gave staff direction to conduct studies, provide solutions to address the long overdue issue. While I understand that staff is working on presenting information in August or September of this year, and the CIP can be amended and changed, the fact that the staff report in the 5-year CIP specifically excludes dirt roads is more than concerning, and does not show that the meeting had any progress from March until this current time frame. The CIP plus history does not exude confidence that any changes or amendments will occur. In my opinion, excluding dirt roads from the 5-year CIP is unacceptable. 5 years is a long time. Think about the world we are in pre and post COVID and the changes. In 5 years, my teenage son will be able to legally drink. My daughter, who does math by counting her fingers, will be doing multiplication, and there will be new election cycles, and current staff may retire, which is well earned. And yet, there is still not a commitment to address the long overdue issue of dirt roads in a written document. People will come and go, the community will grow and change, and yet the dirt roads and its issues will remain. I think it is reasonable and expected that the 5-year infrastructure planning document grows with the community, and that is not what is happening in this document. As Brooke mentioned, you have a picture of my daughter standing in a crevice on Crestview Drive that I took yesterday. We have to drive around that, we have to walk around that, and that's what it looks without the impact of a storm, and that is unacceptable for safety and emergency purposes. In conclusion, since I do understand the need to approve the CIP to work on pre-approved projects, such as the recreation projects, which I'm a fan of, I strongly encourage this town council to add a written commitment under the streets and highways section of the 5-year CIP to take an active role of addressing the dirt road issue and providing solutions through conducting studies, reviewing information, paving roads within the town, and I guarantee you Crestview Drive is used more than other roads that are paved. Even removing the pavement and grading the road once a year, making that commitment will be helpful, and do anything without any means necessary. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the public wishing to speak? Well done. Anybody else? Anybody online? Nope. Back to the council. Councilman Schooler.
Well, that's a lot of projects, and I'm particularly impressed with the participation of SBCTA. Did we do something special to warrant that kind of attention?
We find information in the right time. That's it.
Okay, well, hopefully, and most of that is committed. It's already committed then.
2 of the projects that I mentioned is already committed. Yes, that's correct.
That's awesome.
Okay, all right. Well, that's pretty encouraging. And I love the projects. I love making progress on them, and I always think they should happen faster than they do, but nice to see that they're getting the attention they deserve. As far as the dirt road comments, I would not be opposed to making a commitment to include something to address that. I know that that's an ongoing problem in the community, and otherwise, I think the plan, the 5-year plan is good. Good job. Keep up the good work.
Councilman Abel.
Andrea, thank you for your comments. I have the same frustration you have. I'm on a, quote, dirt road committee, and we've met once. I've asked for traffic counts on certain dirt roads to see the traffic volume. It's not happened. So I appreciate you speaking up. I have that same frustration. It seems like you get a little pat on the head and say, we're going to take care of it, don't worry, and then nothing happens. You don't see any progress. All the projects I saw looked fantastic. A lot of them were well thought out. I really appreciate the funding that we're getting and also possible funding in the future. The Yucca Trail widening project, Palomar to La Quintana, really needed and wonderful. I had a couple thoughts on that. We've done some widening projects in our community. We've added some sidewalks. We've made it safer. We've added sidewalks on the highway and so forth. And when it comes time to widening Yucca Trail to La Quintana, or Palomar to La Quintana, excuse me, Yucca Trail, La Quintana to Palomar, that'll be a nice improvement because it's sandy shoulders on both sides. Have we talked to the county? Do they have plans to continue that kind of a widening project all the way to Park Avenue? Because here's what I envision. We have a lot of people that come up, use our area. I really love the environment. We've talked about bike trails, bike paths and so forth, and also the alternative of getting out of your vehicle plus enjoying our really wonderful environment. And I've always envisioned people coming and being able to park down at our park and ride facility and then having some type of a way of navigating on bikes safely all the way to the national park or, perhaps even further. We have high altitude training up here. We have people in the low desert who want to get away from the heat. I see more and more cyclists coming up here and using our roads. So when we do our widening projects, I see these buffers and I see the widening, but I see the striping doesn't include any kind of a bike path. And I know that some communities even maybe only can do a bike path on one side, but at least it's some type of a bike path. So I don't know what the parameters are on bike paths. Does it always have to go a certain distance before, because eventually it's not going to be a bike path at one point or another. But I'd like to see when we look at these widening projects, and especially along Onaga where we have elementary schools and high school kids and so forth, where we restripe it in a way that maybe can give us the space we need for a bike path and whatever the minimum standard would be to be able to include some type of a bike path somewhere in our community. And again, cyclists, I can see going all the way down Yucca Trail all the way to Park. I've jogged that before, and I have to run in the sand a lot because I'll get killed otherwise. But to see that widening project continue with the county, and I know that they've done some bike paths in Joshua Tree area, and I see that the town of 29 Palms is looking at bike paths, and they were even talking in the newspaper about some type of trail or bike path system all the way to Yucca Valley. So I'd like to see maybe getting some other partners along, especially on Yucca Trail, because it is well-traveled, and we're getting people off the highway there. The Park Avenue project, parking lot, I see dirt moving and so forth. Does it look like we're on time or we're doing well with I know it's real early.
The project that is going on right now at Little League is the undergrounding of the utilities.
Yeah.
So Edison is doing that for us. So that is what you see.
So yeah, I know a lot of that beginning construction is not visible, where you're seeing real quick progress because it has to go underground and all that. But it's nice to know that project's still moving forward. I completely oppose the Onaga Trail extension. That's $12,600,000 that could be used for dirt road maintenance, paving some of these streets like Crestview and others that these people have lived here for 35, 40 years, and they still live on a dirt road. Again, when I moved up here, it's like, The only time I've seen dirt roads in a town was when I was in Mexico, and it was a shock to come up here and see dirt roads and people living on dirt roads in California. But, you know, it was a culture shock for me. 30 years later, I start to understand or get used to it. But $12.5 million to extend one city block off the highway, I'd rather see $12 million going to dirt road maintenance. I'd rather see $12 million going to paving some of these small streets that have been missed through the years. So I completely oppose a Naga Trail extension. I don't think that's a good idea. We're spending all that money for one city block, and then some developer will benefit from a paved road and start developing houses down there when the development should be paying for the paving. Sage to Airway widening, $41 million. That's one that got approved. That's the money we actually have, and that'll be really fantastic. So I applaud everybody for getting that money to us. Let's see here. The Cape Seal and overlay is based on areas that are not in the phase 2 or 3 of the sewer project. Is that correct? Because we're trying not to spend money on a road that might get torn up. Do we have any assurance that we're going to get phase 2 here in the near future? And we haven't met 2 + 2 with the water district, so.
Water District staff is going to be scheduled likely in August for a presentation and update to the town council on phase 2.
Oh, fantastic. So I really applaud the partnerships that we've had with the Water District in the past. It was really imperative that, you know, Measure Y and Measure Z helped with keeping the cost down for our residents. As we know, 50% of tax dollars come from outside of the Yucca Valley city or town area. So 50% of that tax revenue comes from other areas, so they're helping to offset the cost to our residents. We need to make sure, keep that partnership with the Water District strong, because their proposal, their ability to do the wastewater treatment facility has only improved the aesthetics and the safety of our town with those new roads. So including new roads with the water, with the wastewater treatment plant was brilliant, and it was, because we were playing catch up with the county for decades, and we're still playing catch up. I noticed in the beautification sign highway project, it only showed the monument sign portion of the highway beautification. You didn't show anything on the intersection improvements. We had some ideas on key intersections, getting some hardscaping, visually enhancing each of the turn areas. You know, we have weeds, we have dirt blowing into the road, all this thing. Was that excluded, or are we not planning on moving forward with that? Because a monument sign is really nice, but that's the sign, and it's $435,000, but we need to include it with improving each of those intersections.
So as the council was allocating funds for its prioritization of capital projects, that was at the bottom of the tier. So you had the aquatic center, senior center, town hall, then down into Highway 62 improvements. And so we were waiting until the award of bid on the aquatic center, and then come back and revisit what our cash position is from our different financing mechanisms to see what's available for Highway 62 beautification. Prior to the award of the aquatic center, we had not identified any funding being available. So staff will be returning to the council with that discussion now that we know those numbers.
Fantastic. And you're familiar with what I'm talking about as well?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, great. And, you know, for me, you know, for me personally, I'm gonna tie in this monument sign with those improvements on the highway, with the funding. I don't want it just one and not the other. I want all of it. So it really makes an impact on the aesthetics of the town as we drive through. Anyway, fantastic. Lots and lots of really good things. The only one I oppose strongly is the Onaga Trail, and I agree. The dirt road maintenance or paving some of the dirt roads that are here in town and having a project moving forward. Does SBCTA funding almost impossible for small residential street improvements? Is that
Yes.
why it's not included?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all my comments. Thank you.
Councilman Dennison.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, great presentation, thank you. That's talk about a deep dive. And I think Pastor Casey Coleman said it best. He goes, there's a lot happening in the background that a lot of people don't say, and that was something that he had talked about earlier during the invocation. And this is a great example of all the things that are happening in our community, and I don't think many people even know it is going on because a lot of it's kind of off the highway. Councilmember Abel's comments about the monumentation sign is a big deal because it's how we're perceived, and that's kind of the first visual that people get of our community. We want it to flow nice and just be open arms for our beautiful community as they go through town or to town, whatever it may be. So those are important. On the capital improvement plan, I want to start off by saying thank you to Dawn Rao for some of the investments that she's made into our community. And the importance of that, along with everybody else in the community through our Measure Y funding. Those funding streams are the things that allow us to get things shovel-ready so we can go to organizations like SBCTA, which I'm the vice chair of SBCTA. There's a lot of work and discussion that goes on about what we need in our community, and we have to put our position clear amongst all the other cities and the one other town in San Bernardino in San Bernardino County, along with the county requirements too. So SBCTA is a large group. It has representation from all the cities and the 2 towns and then the county itself. And we sit down and we work as a board and we look at how funding can be distributed in the areas equitably. And that's what we've been working on since I've been there, is we're trying to make sure that the landing strip is clear for all the work our staff is doing out there to put these projects together to show that it's needed, for one, that we have funding secured and we have a solid plan ready to go. And then it's easy to fund because they know it's a great investment in our community. And you've even seen that by our supervisor, Rao, coming in and contributing to these important projects that you just saw here today. I can't say enough about the community, again, Measure Y. When you see the crack seal and slurry and Cape, that was a tongue twister, in our community, it really makes a difference. You turn the corner and here's this beautiful, smooth, resurfaced road. And then when it gets the striping on it, it just is alive. And people go, wow, they're taking care of these streets. And I think we do a really good job. And it's a difficult task for staff to stay on top of that when you talk about the hundreds of miles of streets that we have in our community. Yucca Trail to Palomar project is really important. I've always thought that, Yucca Trail Palomar to La Contenta, that it choked down. La Contenta is one of our biggest schools in the area, the middle school, which it's kind of a collision of the high school kids starting to leave and the new kids from multiple elementary schools in the area coming into for their junior years. So that'll make it safer for bus transportation, it'll make it safer for kids that are being transported by their parents to the schools, and also for kids that walk in that area. What a great improvement by having that road wider. We've been talking about this for a long time, and I'm very glad that it came around. The Indio project to Yucca Trail is correct. The commercial area there has been locked up. We have some big facilities in there now, like our waste management hall, Burtec over there, and also our treatment plant for the water district. And that creates a lot more traffic along with the bus yard that's right there in that area, and they'll have options to get in and out of there besides La Contenta and congested. Everybody knows that drives in Yucca Valley, congestion is probably one of the biggest frustrations that they have when they come into town, especially on a big weekend. It can take a long time to get through Yucca Valley just from the entrance of town to right here. Sometimes it's backed up in the turn pockets, and you can't get into it because of the truck traffic that's starting to occur in our town. And that was the one thing about, I have a different view also than Councilmember Abel, is that the Camino del Cielo and Onaga bypass, to me, that's what I call it, is to get people off of the highway as soon as possible and to use Onaga, because it will help improve traffic on the highway. The locals now don't have to wait to get into Kickapoo or some other place that will go to the south. They're able to start to split off, and as you know, Onaga kind of goes more into the Sky Harbor, Juniper Terrace, those kinds of areas for access. So I look at it like that, is how do we get traffic, local traffic, give an option for our residents to get off the highway as soon as possible and also to get out of town as soon as possible. And that was the one option. So we have a lot of discussions to talk about it. So that's an important comment on both ends. Indio got that. Oh, and the one last thing that was really important. In our community, we don't have a really good flood control system. We inherited it from the county. It's not something that's really under our juris to do. It's just, we're trying to make it work. We use our streets as our flood control system. And the berm portion on the CIP is very important for that, to help people get water off of their property and into the roadway so it can be properly directed into some of the catch basins and ultimately end up in the washes in town where it can carry it, to the east. So berms are very important. We see them. It seems kind of a little different. When you see a big berm, why is that there? Well, someday it'll pay for itself. And so we can't allow those to deteriorate because that endangers people's property and sometimes even their lives. You've seen a lot of sandbags around, and people shouldn't have to sandbag all the time, especially in an area that's very prone to flooding, and that's where these berms occur. So once again, I want to thank everybody and thank SBCTA for working with the community, and it's all of the hard work that staff is doing. Like I said, they're bringing projects forward, they see it, it's valuable, they invest in it, and these numbers are huge. So thank you.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Droz.
Thank you, Alex. That was really impressive. I'm impressed with, I always seem to be, but I'm always impressed with a lot of things the town is doing. Andrea, I want to say thank you for bringing this subject up. I think it's really important. And yes, we need to have a plan with that. So hopefully we will. And I would pat your shoulder also, say good job. So thank you. And I want to talk about, let's see here, Indio and Onaga, the extension, and I believe you used the word, I don't remember, realignment. Either of those, does that include like paving? I wasn't clear on that.
Yeah, that's complete paving, lights, curb gutter, sidewalk.
Okay. Well, I think that's great, especially Indio. Onaga, I'm still hearing the debate here. I'm not sure which way to go, but whatever we decide, I'm not a traffic engineer and what would really help the town the most, but I'd like to hear more information on that. But anyway, thank you for a great presentation, and thank you, Andrea, for speaking on that.
Mayor, if we could make a couple staff comments before you finalize your comments
you
on
bet.
this item, just a couple things. Go back to Alex's recommendation you saw in the staff report this evening, and it's a good thing. Your action on the CIP tonight does not reflect a commitment to any of the projects that are in that CIP. So any of these projects that you haven't awarded for design or construction all have to come back before the town council for any action to occur on those. So even though Onaga from Kickapoo to Camino del Cielo is in the plan, your action tonight on the CIP does not approve that project. It's not included. On dirt roads, all very legitimate comments, very similar comments that both yourselves and all prior councils in this community have heard since incorporation. It's a very, very difficult issue. In terms of the council's question on traffic counts, those will begin after school is back in session in September. As you know, there's two different traffic patterns in this community: summer traffic patterns and school year traffic patterns, and they are completely different. And so those traffic counts need to occur based upon those volumes that happen 9 months out of the year. So that's going to be scheduled in September. There's two types of counts that will be occurring. We'll have the ones that have the rubber strips out in certain locations on hard asphalt, but on dirt roads, those don't work. So we're actually going to have humans sitting in vehicles that actually sit there with clickers and count the vehicles. That's what we have to do in order to have accurate data. Part of us coming back, staff coming back to the council on roads in general is going to be, the very big component of that is a cash flow analysis. And where does the cash come from to maintain all of these things?
In the future, yeah.
It's a tight situation. I've been building, maintaining, and rebuilding roads in this community for 33 years. And having money and having enough money to do those things on a town-wide basis has never been available in 33 years. That's an important part of your policy consideration. Every council, including you over the years, have been very fiscally conservative and careful, and that same consideration goes into your infrastructure development and maintenance efforts, both in the short term and long term. Councilmember Abel is correct. The SBCTA allocations that Alex was presenting this evening are limited to major arterials and highways, and they will not allocate those funds to your basic residential roadways. In cash flow analysis, what we can look at is Measure I infrastructure funds, what comes out of our allocation that comes directly to us for Measure I funds, which is only about $1 million a year, which we're using Measure I and SB1 funds to maintain the roads that the taxpayers just paid the water district to rebuild with the sewer project. Why is that important? You've heard me talk about that now for 10 years. We have a very high obligation to make sure those new roads that the taxpayers paid for, and still are today, that we take care of those in good condition. And that takes a lot of money, especially if the district moves forward with Phase 2, because those new roads that they construct in Phase 2 have to be maintained on that 5 to 7 year cycle. So you're going to have not just Phase 1, but Phase 2 that fall into that category within your existing revenue stream. So that cash flow analysis is very important. Councilmember Abel also brought up a very good point about coordination with the county on Yucca Trail. We just received in the last 60 days, I think from SBCTA, that Yucca Trail was going to be allocated. So we do need to coordinate with the county. We have not done that at this time. We'll reach out to Public Works, County Public Works staff and start that conversation. We've not heard that they've allocated any money for any work on what they call Alta Loma yet at this point to match up with Yucca Trail. So thank you for raising that issue up. Again, all very good comments this evening, brought up by the public, very legitimate. Staff is working those issues as directed by the council to come back to you. Mayor, thank you for allowing staff to make comments. We'd be happy to answer any other questions after your deliberations.
Great. I just wanted to make a few comments on I differ a little bit from Councilmember Abel on the extension of Onaga to DCLO, Camino DCLO. I think it's an important extension, similar to what Councilman Dennison was saying about being able to get traffic off the highway and give locals a chance to get in and out of town at an earlier stage. So we can discuss that in the future. It's not a committed project at this time, but I think it's something, I'm glad to see that it's on the docket to be looked at least. And then I would ask that we look at every opportunity where we're expanding a road or connecting, like this one, extending Onaga, to put in bike trails or bike paths or striping on the roadway to allow some kind of connectivity of bicycle pathways from one end of town to the other. Onaga is a great place to do it. Yucca Trail is a great place to do it. So I see that as something we need to look into, and when we're spending all this money, putting a stripe and giving a foot or two to the bicycle path or the running pathway, walkway, especially if we're building new sidewalks and stuff. It seems like we have all sorts of opportunities to put, little ramps at the curbs and stuff so you can ride a bike and continue on if you need to. Other than that, I'm just impressed with all the things you have up in the air at one time. And I love the idea that we're looking out 5 years in advance, looking at what things are going to cost and finding ways to fund them. And thank God we have the SBTCA and all the funding that they've provided for us. And thanks to Dawn Rao and her helping us keep our community functioning and improving. And Measure Y is so critical. I want to see it get reinstated. It's been a real benefit to the community, and I hope everyone sees that. Other than that, I think
Mayor, I have one
got
other
something to
question.
say?
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone's comments and so forth, and I understand connectivity and all those things. What I would rather see, and like you, our deputy town manager said, that we're approving the overall concept. Each project will have to stand on its own merits, and I appreciate that. But if you don't vocalize that you're opposed to a certain project that's on that list, I need to make sure and voice it. What I would rather see that 12.6 million going towards is continuing to widen and do sidewalks on Onaga. I mean, we already started at one point going towards the high school. It's much safer now. We're talking about trying to take more cars off the highway and put them on that road, but yet it hasn't been improved. I mean, it hasn't been improved all the way to the end. So I would rather see us continue to chip away at SB CTA monies for the widening of Onaga all the way down to Kickapoo before we do an extension to the highway. If we're going to bring traffic down Onaga, it needs to be as safe and as wide with sidewalks as possible. And that's a whole lot of desert that you're putting a pavement down where no one other than the occasional person, I'm the type of person, I'm driving and I don't stop and make a right turn until the light turns red. Then I'll stop and make the right. So if it's green, I'm staying on the highway until I hit a red light, and then I'm going to go up to maybe Sky Harbor. I'll make my right-hand turn there and then continue on Onaga or whatever road it takes. So I don't know how much it would take off the highway, that one block. I know that if we have an accident right in one particular area, we have limitations on directing traffic around. I think they had to direct it around the mobile home park and around the last time we had it. So eventually it will be extended to the highway. But before we extend it to the highway, I would rather see the sidewalks continue and the widening of Onaga happen. And that would qualify with SB or SB CTA monies versus the smaller residential. But that's just my opinion on that. I'd rather see a safer Onaga that already carries a lot of traffic than extending it.
Well, we appreciate your comments, and you've always had good insight into good way of looking at things. So thank you for that, and I'm sure I look forward to lots of interesting conversations as we get into these specific projects in the future. Any other comments? And let's have a motion.
Mayor, I'll move item 13 as recommended by the Planning Commission, that the Town Council A finds the project is exempt from CEQA with a section 15378B4 and section 15061B3 for the California Environmental Quality Act. The capital improvement program is not a project, nor is there a possibility of significant effect on the environment from the program. Further, the CIP does not result in a commitment to any specific project. And B, that the Town Council adopts the 5-year capital improvement program for fiscal years 2024 and 2025 through 2028 and 2019.
All right, and I'll second it.
Councilmember Abel?
Yes.
Dennison?
Yes.
Rhodes?
Yes.
Schooler?
Yes.
And Mayor Lombardo?
Yes. All right, thank you. On to item number 14, the fall/winter 2024-25 planned programs from Community Services Department. Another exceptional. Okay, we're just full of good things.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the Fall/Winter 24-25 Plan Programs presentation. These are programs by the Community Services Department, and the recommendation is that the Town Council accept the recommendation of the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Commission and approve the Fall/Winter 24-25 programs and events organized and conducted by the Community Services Department. The programming staff of our High Desert Nature Museum and the Recreation Division of our department have developed the schedule of programs and events that will be offered in the fall and winter of 24-25, and that's October through March. As you know, we do this twice a year. These activities will be promoted through social media, media advertisement, and customer direct mail. And of course, our published activities guide will be distributed to the community and posted on the town website. The programs were reviewed and approved by the PRCC at their meeting of July 10th with direction to forward this recommendation to the town council. And with us this evening, we have two of the supervisors from our department. We have Recreation Supervisor Clayton Reardon, who oversees aquatics, special events, and public art, and he will be presenting on those programs. In addition, he will be presenting for Recreation Supervisor Kuba Kuzmarek, our Sports and Wellness Supervisor, who is out this evening because he is expecting a baby this week. So Clayton, like to thank him in advance for covering those programs, and then after Clayton, we'll hear from Museum Supervisor Celeste Hildebrand. So we'll welcome Supervisor Reardon.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Honorable Mayor, Council, thank you for hearing the planned programs for fall, winter 2024. Feedback? Cool. So we've got a few new items and plenty of returning items. First up is our Movies in the Courtyard. This was actually approved as part of the spring summer because this kicks off on the very first Friday in October as the new season launches. So it was approved in spring summer we'll actually be launching and marketing and opening registration for that program in the coming weeks. That will be Fridays, starting the very first Friday of October, going all the way up until the film festival. So we have Movies in the Courtyard, inclement weather, we bring them inside, and that will do something Halloween themed just before the Spooktacular, and all very thematic and fun. And there will be a $2 charge for that. So this is also a little bit of an effort to start charging for some of these smaller events that might have been free in the past, and kind of gauge the community's appetite for paying for some of these programs. So think of it as $2 for popcorn and a free movie. Next up is our Murder Mystery Dinner. This was an incredibly popular program that the staff ran before the pandemic. It was the brainchild of Recreation Administrative Assistant Jessica Kuna, and it's absolutely her favorite program. So she'll be weighing in and helping bring this one back to life. It's put on in part through a vendor that specializes in murder mystery dinners. And that'll be $45 a person. That's a slight upcharge from what I think we charged around $30, give or take a little bit, in the previous round before the pandemic. But costs have gone up across the board, and this one's no exception. Next up is the Halloween Spooktacular. This is our Saturday Halloween event. This came back, it's been in this building for years. After the pandemic, we did a field version and then brought it back inside. This is a collaboration with the museum. This is an all hands on deck, pull out all the stops, huge event. We get well over 1,000 people showing up.
Wow.
We've got about a week after that of a lull to pack up and prep, and then we launch into the film festival. So the film festival this year is going to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the second such in November, and that there will be, similar to last year. I think we have so it's our 6th year. I don't have, let's see. After film festival, we take a couple weeks break. Halloween, Halloween film festival, go into
Christmas.
After Thanksgiving break, we come back for tree lighting. The tree lighting ceremony this year, we've classically done that on the first Tuesday after Thanksgiving. That's going to be a town council meeting this year. So we're bumping it one day, so it'll be on Wednesday instead. So that'll be Wednesday the 4th, and we follow that up with letters to Santa, Santa visits, snow play day on that, and the holiday craft fair on that next Saturday. The charges for the holiday craft fair have historically been $25 per table for years and years and years and years. This year, it will be $30 per table. After that, It's not one of our events, but we participate in the Chamber's annual light parade. That's typically one of the first things that we do with the new youth commission. So they come out, they help serve cookies and hot chocolate at Snow Play Day, and then they come out and we build a float and participate in the light parade. We also we alternate hosting Veterans Day with 29 Palms. So this year that's going to be in Yucca Valley, and that's actually dovetailed right out of the film festival. So what's normally a huge 3-day event that sees all the hundreds of people coming through here, staff are here all day, every day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, Monday, right after that, we'll have the Veterans Celebration. That's it for special events. The public art side of things, we're going to be wrapping up the 22-24 public art program, and we still have the next round of art for the library installation that we'll select, or I guess the call will go live at the end of this year to be installed after the new year. The monument sign call is out right now. That will be wrapping up in the next several weeks, and it'll come back to the PRCC. One or more will be selected to go through public comment, and then those will go back to the PRCC one more time before coming to the council. We also have our fundraising event, the Coyote Call. We're in the process of procuring some fiberglass coyotes that will be made available through a competitive process again, and a call for artists for the community to paint. They would then go on display for a number of months, and then they would finally come back to us and be auctioned off as part of a fundraiser. So it's community engagement, it's spreading the word about public art, fundraising, and creating some fun pieces around town. This is adapted from a number of other cities and public art projects.
Great.
Make sure I have, and we have a placeholder on here for any new Old Town parking project event. So anything in that Old Town project that should be wrapping up November, December, we have a placeholder in here and TBD dates for anything that might be held at that facility once it's finished. Moving on to sports and fitness, Kuba has a ton of stuff on here. We've been working together on a number of different things preparing for his leave, so bear with me as I try to cover all of this because he has a lot of new stuff and some reimagined and even some things that have been gone for a while that he's brought back. First up is We Hoops Academy. So this is the existing We Hoops program reimagined a little bit and brought back to the October-November timeframe. So this will be launching and conducted prior to the traditional basketball season. This is really our pre-K and K 5 and 6 year old group, and historically it's been a $40 program, and the cost as we kind of reimagine and move it around a little is going up to $50. It's a 6-week session. It really focuses on getting kids exposed to basketball, getting them introduced to some of the core concepts, and preparing them for other kinds of sports and letting them sample other things at a young age. Also new, or maybe brought back after a very long hiatus is a Pee Wee League. This is our first and second graders, 6 and 7 year olds. This is the precursor to what has historically been our league. It's something that parents often ask about. We often get questions, can second graders play up? So we're accommodating an unmet need in the community. It was popular and loved years ago, so we're excited to see that one come back. And part of the reason that We Hoops has been moved is to accommodate all the extra gym time that will be necessary for that Pee Wee League. Because we have a limitation on gyms and space. We just can't do everything at the same time. That's $65 per child for an entire season, December through March. Then there's the traditional competitive league, 3rd through 8th graders in a 3-4 grade, 3rd, 4th grade league, 5th, 6th grade league, and a 7th, 8th grade league, boys league, girls league on each side. Same thing that we've been doing for years, again, trying to accommodate the growing league, all the gym space, working with the school district for La Contenta and then for the high school later on in the year, reserving time at CMC. It's a big program, and the cost for that has gone up $10. So it went from $75 to $85, and then there's a sibling discount of $10 that will still apply. So the sibling price went from $65 to $75. Then next up is the Healthy Hearts Run that was pushed back from February to March. That will continue again this year, just better weather, better participation. It's just a better experience for everybody across the board. $30 early bird, $35 regular price. Same course that we've been using, same location, Essig Park, the neighborhood out to the east of there. Then next up, fitness classes. There have been 2 running for the past year or so, year and a half. A high-low class and a Pilates class, both of those are back. And then in addition to those, 2 new classes are being added. So we have double the number of classes that we've been running. There's a new cardio dance class and a gentle flow yoga class. Both of those will be coming in with the fall-winter programs. And the prices on those are directly in line with the previous adult classes, high-low and Pilates, so $10 and $12, or $12 and $10 respectively. In the fitness classes, the youth class that we offer is an adaptive sports class. Executive director of SoCal Adaptive Sports runs that class. It's $5, so you see a big price difference from the adult classes to the kids classes, and that has a pretty regular attendance for the kids that show up, and that's been going on and will continue through the fall winter. Adult softball continues to be popular. There's a Tuesday offering and a Thursday offering. The Tuesday has been like on the cusp of filling. You're like literally one team short of being able to pull it off, I think for 2 seasons now. Fingers crossed for fall winter, trying to get that last team in there for the Tuesday. And then we'll be running 2 nights of softball, just chipping away and trying to get back to where we were 5 or 10 years ago, with multiple nights in that program. And there's a slight incremental cost increase. It used to be $200, now it's going to be $206. So the fall league is a half season, so it's half the price of the spring and summer leagues. Speaking of which, the registration will open for the spring league in January, so that one's on here as well. And then we jump over to another new program, adult basketball. This is a 3v3 tournament. $60 per team. So you have a team of 3 people, $60. I mean, the value is really quite good. It's going to be one weekend, a Friday, Saturday. I believe that's a Friday, Saturday. In October, we sat down with a calendar and looked at all the special events, all the youth events, to find some time to be able to do this. The calendar is just starting to get absolutely packed. Adult pickleball has also been a heavy hitter in our lineup. There's a clinic, Learn to Play clinic for beginner and intermediate players on Wednesdays, the Ladder League on Thursdays. These things have been really popular for the last couple sessions, and they'll continue again. They're on a break for the summer, and they'll come back again fall, winter. And then we've already done a couple pickleball tournaments, and those will also pick back up, round robin, and then the next one of those will be October 19th. Just again, trying to build out pickleball as we as the new facility starts to come online. And then we have an entire slate of enrichment classes. Most of these have been going on for years. I won't go through every single one of these, but this list is a lot of these are tried and true and have gone on in this building with the same instructor or a regular participant that has taken over the instructor as somebody has either retired or moved away. The 2 that I want, or 3 that I really want to mention are the Toddler and Me classes. One of our local moms and former district school teacher, taking a break with her toddler. She's been teaching a Toddler and Me class that's really well received. She's added dates, times, and that will continue fall, winter as well. Legomation just wrapped up. That was, I believe, sold out in both instances at $25 per class, so one of our more expensive kids classes, and that will come back in the fall, winter. And then a new one, the claymation, we have an instructor that wants to do a claymation class. So that's the new one on that lineup. And then Youth Commission, again, you'll be seeing them in November, December to approve the 2024-25 term. So be happy to answer any questions after Celeste and public comment.
Okay, come on up, Celeste.
Celeste, welcome.
Thank you for having me. So the museum is really happy to be expanding our programming. This fall, winter, I'm going to start with our exhibit-based programming and events. So this October is the 60th anniversary of the museum. So we will be hosting a Night at the Museum anniversary celebration in which museum visitors can come participate in activities. And we will also be opening a museum spotlight, which will highlight the history of the High Desert Nature Museum, as well as founder Evelyn Conklin. Our fall exhibit, Abuelita's Kitchen Mexican Food Stories, that will include a fiesta at the museum in November, in which we showcase some stories and traditional recipes from local families, along with a tamale making workshop. And then in January, the museum will be displaying Wondrous West Art, Tourism, and National Pride. This exhibit displays a variety of advertising and print materials from the mid-1800s to the mid-1900s. These materials encouraged Americans to travel west and see America first. So with that, the museum will be offering an introduction to printmaking. It's a block printing workshop that'll be for teens and adults. And then in addition to those exhibit-based programs, we're also going to be expanding and adding some new education-based programs. Last winter, we had STEM workshops that we conducted for youth ages 9 through 14. We did 3 last winter. They were all wildly successful, sold out very quickly. So this fall, winter, we're going to double that, and we're going to be doing 1 per month, so a second Saturday STEM workshop. Again, it's for youth ages 9 through 14. We're also adding, for our youngest visitors, a Desert Explorers program. This will be for preschool-age children, 2 to 4 years old, and it will be a 6-week, once-a-week course where parents can come in with their preschool-age child, and we'll have a curated story and activity that really highlights one aspect of the local either flora or fauna of the Morongo Basin. And then finally, we're also adding a 3-session series of botany. And so these can be taken individually, or they can all be taken together as a whole kind of course. And they will focus on the Morongo Basin cacti and succulents. It will include an educational lecture, a Lego workshop in which participants will construct models of cacti and succulents while they learn about plant anatomy, and then also a hands-on propagating cacti and succulents workshop. And that will be fall, early March, so kind of perfect right in time for spring planting. So those are the new and expanded programs. And that's in addition to, of course, our tried and true spectacular and opening receptions and the events that our community has grown to know and love. So, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great.
Thank you, Celeste. Just to provide a little bit of extra information, of course, our Measure Y senior programs, fully funded by Measure Y, the 2 staff members over there. Our senior membership continues to increase. We're up to over 600 members.
600?
And,
wow.
you know, it's just hopping all the time. So, you know, it's not unusual for us to see 100 visitors to the senior center nowadays. It's very, very, very busy place. And a shift in, you know, where years ago you used to see the seniors really interested in maybe music performances or things like that. Our exercise classes are really going crazy. You know, we added another senior fit and firm exercise class. We even did some evening sound bath programs that sold out without any advertising.
Wow.
So it's really interesting to see what the seniors are interested in now. And so those programs are going strong. And we just want to thank the council. The museum is fully staffed now. Of course, we had some turnover in staffing there. We did add just a couple of positions with the rec department, and just with the addition of that, just the ability to add more programming and add a public art program and expand and enhance some of these other programs, it's really a great opportunity to respond to unmet needs and to plan ahead for the new Aquatics and Rec Center. So it gives us the bandwidth to try out new programs, to build programs that we plan to transplant. So you see our exercise programs expanding and developing all of those so that when we open, we'll have a bustling and vibrant new center. So we're very
All that
excited
great
about
extra
it.
space.
Yes,
be
right. It's that gym, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
I can't believe it. It's going to be great. So that concludes the staff report. We'd be happy to answer any
Okay.
questions after public
Does
comment.
the public have any questions? Anything online? Quiet night. It's hot out there. Okay. So back to the council. Councilman Schooler, anything to comment?
Well, yeah, this is impressive. I mean, we're talking about October through March, and the planning seems to have been put in place already. I kind of like that. I'm wondering if do we get any pushback on the fee structure? And maybe, staff could talk a little bit about how the fees are determined. And do we get pushback on that? Do we have to cancel some of these activities and maybe you could talk about the criteria for canceling if we have to do that?
As far as canceling because of fee pushback, we don't really have that experience.
Attendance.
Yes. We do have, sometimes like right now we see a shift. So softball used to be really popular. So we used to run, years ago, we used to run 4 nights of softball easily. Now we just see a change in the interest in the community, where now pickleball is very, very popular. So we're trying to meet the demand with pickleball being a more popular sport. So with the facilities that we have, trying to meet the demand and also plan for the new pickleball facility. But we also try to offer programs just to ensure that we're not missing. We survey our customers, but we do try to make offerings to see if there's interest out there. And so, sometimes there is interest, but it's not enough for a full league. But we still, from time to time, will try to test those waters and see if there's enough teams out there that want to play for a second night, or if there's additional teams. And we never cancel anything or any programming without knowing that we've done everything, whether it be marketing or advertising, outreach, customer surveys. Right. We want to make sure we don't cancel programming often, usually because we've done our homework ahead of time, so we know that if we're making an offering that it's an unmet need. But even when we do, we want to make sure we've given it every single chance, and that we are really convinced that there just isn't the interest level out there.
Okay, thank you. I guess I was getting at, are the fees ever a barrier? And if so, do we have a way of subsidizing or getting sponsors for people that might find it a barrier?
Sometimes we'll, if it's a larger commitment, like a softball team, where you might have a manager who's trying to shoulder a $400 registration fee and then collect the money from his teammates, you can hold the spot with a deposit of half of that amount. So we try to make it, in those instances where we are getting feedback from maybe a softball manager that, hey, it's hard for me to carry this $400 on my own and then collect from my players, we'll allow them to register with just 50% down with the balance due by the manager's meeting. So they have time to collect from their players.
Okay.
So when we see that problem, we do try to resolve it.
Yeah, okay, appreciate that. What would be interesting to see is maybe at the end of the 6-month period to have another column on this grid that would tell us how it went, like participation numbers? I think it's cool to see 600 seniors are members and 100 seniors are showing up every day. But to have some sort of a feedback like that, I think that'd be interesting to see at the end of the 6-month period as well. So that's my comments. Otherwise, good job. I like the advanced planning and the details. So good job.
We also try to share, we do survey our customers. Sometimes you'll see aquatic surveys in the town council chamber, in the lounge there that we leave for you to go through as well, so you can see the responses.
Councilman Abel?
Yeah, thank you very much. Our recreation program's doing a fantastic job, and it's really neat to see all the opportunities people have. It's quite a long list of opportunities for people to get involved and to socialize and so forth. The guests that come and use our facilities are treated really well. It seems like all the employees that we hire, summer staff, are just top quality youth. It's been that way for years. It seems like we get the cream of the crop. And working at the school district for a number of years, and then seeing which students got hired, I could understand we got some of the best that come and work here, and it looks good on a resume. So great job in your recruiting, great job in retaining. It speaks volumes when you have the aquatics program, where you have people that return every summer to come and work year after year. That tells you that we're doing something right and that they're getting some enjoyment and financial gain in serving our community. I've dropped in on several of the programs just to see how things were going. I went to water aerobics. It was very well attended, and it only grow from there once we have an indoor aquatic center, I'm sure. Wanda does a fantastic job. My shoulders are still sore from her workout. I didn't go the next day, my wife did, but she's a regular attendee. But I went on my day off of not running, and it was a strenuous workout. I even mentioned to Clayton that his lifeguards probably at the early part of the year should have to go through one of those classes or bring Wanda in with all the lifeguards in the pool and work them for a half an hour, and then they'll have some respect for those older ladies and the old man. And if you're a single male, which I'm married happily, but if you're a single male and you're up 50 and above, it's a great place to meet attractive young ladies, or ladies of the same age, I might say. So it's a good group of people, and Wanda keeps them on their toes. Also, I observed pickleball again. Courts are always used. You drive by, I drive by that road all the time, and I always look, and there always seems to be somebody there, so that's wonderful. The Pilates class I came by to take a look at, the numbers aren't real big, at least on that one particular class I went to. But it looked like it was a good, solid workout, and you had plenty of mats there for people, and everyone was spaced out, and looked like a great class. But if Wanda beat me up, I'm not sure how I'd do in a Pilates class. So I'm thinking gentle flow yoga might be my next one to try. But with my nap schedule, I might fall asleep during the class, so maybe I need something more intense. On the night at the museum, what time is that going to begin? Do we have an evening? It's an evening event, of course, at night at the museum.
It is an evening event, and we're looking at like 5 to 8. The museum normally closes at 5, so it would be from 5 to 8 with activities throughout that whole time.
I would like to make one suggestion for that event and also use it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
If we could rent a President Teddy Roosevelt outfit for our mayor to wear on that night. I'm sure he'll probably attend, but I think if we could get him in a Teddy Roosevelt outfit for the night at the museum, people would take pictures with him. They put it on social media, and we could do pictures in advance. I think that'd be great. I'll make sure and attend if we have President Teddy Roosevelt there.
I'll look into that. We have a cockroach costume already, but I think the Teddy
I've been
Roosevelt
called
would
that
be great.
before.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very clever idea. Sign me up. I'm game. Okay. Councilman Dennison.
Well, thank you very much for the presentation. I love how my program... Thank you very much for the presentation, but I really love how the program has evolved, and the sports programs and all the things, and the exponential growth of pickleball, which we're seeing now with our new pickleball courts in development. So obviously, it's a sport for the future generation. I might even be getting too old for it, so I better hurry and get involved. I had one question on the pre-KK Wii Hoops. It was a 6-week course. But I didn't know how often are the programs? Is it weekly or bi-weekly?
No, it's a weekly program. So one of the draws to that class is with the younger kids, parents that don't want to make a 2-night-a-week practice and a Saturday game commitment. Historically, that's been a draw for parents just to have this clinic style or now academy style. Once a week for 6 weeks, done. It's significantly less than the actual like competitive or Pee Wee League.
Well, thank you, Clayton. Appreciate it. And then on the museum, yeah, that's a very interesting program, the night at the museum. And the fiesta at the museum caught my eye when you're talking about tamale making. What a great idea. You know, I see it at Christmas time, but I've never participated. I've only watched people do it. So great. I love it. I hope it's well attended.
Thank you. And it will be in November, mid-November after the film festival. So it's kind of still in that holiday season. So
Yeah, perfect time too. Tamales and Christmas. And you know what? I really love Legos. I don't know if I could help myself for adults. That should be pretty fun.
Well, and with, the explosion of adults and older teens and the Lego phenomenon, we figured that would be a popular class.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, when I saw adult Lego workshop, they're going to come up with some creative things or actually horrible things. I don't know which, but I'll try and put it together right. Thank you very much.
Mayor Pro Tem Droz.
So, how come there's nothing to do up here? No, I'm just kidding. I guess I'll be hearing that less often. So that's pretty incredible. So thank you. I really have nothing to add. Just thank you, Susan, Clayton, and Celeste. We really appreciate all the hard work you do, and that's really obvious. So thank you.
Great. Yeah, it's really impressive, all the things we have to do, all the activities. I'm very proud of the staff and being kind of proactive. We're hitting all the trends. The pickleball is growing like crazy all over the country, and here we are, already have plans to expand our courts and try to get in on that action. I'm excited about all the new activities that'll be coming with the new aquatic center as that gets going in the next couple of years. We just, so many fun things. Celeste, maybe a suggestion, I don't know if we have the facilities for it, but along the idea of the tamales, Christmas cookies, or that kind of thing is always fun to do, or used to be an activity that the families would do, but now, you know, it's maybe something that we could bring old family recipes and do that kind of thing too. That would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And the museum, we participate in the town's holiday celebration when they do snow day. Santa's always in the museum for photos and stuff. But it seems as though we could have an opportunity to have space here somewhere in the community center where we can set that up and have opportunities either for the recipes to be made or even just decorating something of that
Something like
nature.
that would be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Just love the creative ideas. Everybody's, this is just such a wonderful space to be involved in. And we're providing lots of great opportunities for the community. And I just want to see more things bring us together. This is wonderful. All right. Shall we move forward with this? I need a motion. It's a receive and file? Okay, I'm sorry. Do we have a notice from Cal Recycle of town's successful completion of corrective action plan for SB 1383? Cal Recycle?
That's me.
That's you. I'm sorry, Jess.
Sorry, I'm wearing multiple hats tonight.
Okay.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. The item before you is that the Town Council receive and file the notice from Cal Recycle notifying the town of the successful completion of the corrective action plan regarding SB 1383 implementation. So what this is, well, first let me give a quick overview of SB 1383. I know you guys all know it, but for anyone listening who doesn't know, 1383 is legislation from the state of California that sets statewide reduction targets for organics reduction and also requires every city and county to implement organic waste collection services to all residents and businesses, and this was to be done by January 1st of 2022. The law aims to address climate change by reducing the state's methane emissions that comes from the landfills. So as the council will recall, the CalRecycle had pretty extensive regulations. They were like 187 pages of regulations. And that resulted in the town having to implement a number of programs in order to successfully implement SB 1383. So what we had to do is a number of programs, such as implement enforceable mechanisms, such as updating the town's franchise agreement with the town's hauler Burtec, also updating the town's solid waste ordinance. We had to, of course, implement and roll out organics recycling for residential businesses and multifamilies. We have to also we had to create and also monitor a commercial edible food recovery program, an organic waste procurement program. We had to provide a ton of education and outreach about all of these programs. And then there's also very extensive record-keeping requirements with regards to all of these programs as well. So, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the town, like a lot of other cities in the state of California, was not able to meet all of these objectives by the January 1st, 2022 deadline. So Governor Newsom had signed into law SB 619, which allowed the jurisdictions to submit to CalRecycle a notice of intent to comply. And this was sent in along with a resolution that the governing body affirmed that the contents and the timeline of the notice of intent. So if we had done that, then the town would be relieved of any associated non-compliance penalties, which could have been at least $1,000 per day. So if the council will recall, back in February 15th of 2022, at that meeting, the town council approved a resolution for staff to submit that notice of intent to comply. And in the notice of intent, it identified the tasks that staff still needed to complete, and then also provided estimated timelines of when those things would be finished. So we submitted that to CalRecycle. It was approved in April of 2022. And then at that time, well, actually in January of 2023, CalRecycle placed the town on a corrective action plan known as a CAP. Normally this would not be a good thing, but it's part of the due process of having an approved notice of intent to comply. So they put us on a CAP, and the CAP mirrored the notice of intent to comply, listing all of the tasks that we needed to do, the timeline that we needed to do them in. Staff, we submitted regular status reports, met with CalRecycle on a bi-monthly basis to discuss the status, let them know what we were doing, where we were with submitting all of these tasks. And I have to say we successfully completed all of the tasks in January of 2024. So some of the tasks, I just wanted to give a quick overview because the staff report doesn't really break them down too much. We had 55 tasks that we needed to do still. A lot of those tasks also had a lot of components associated with them, so they would have 2, 3, 4, 5 components within one task. Some of those items were that we, of course, needed to have compliance with organic waste collection services. So the big one was rolling out and implementing our organics recycling. So we did that for all residential businesses and multifamily successfully in January of this year. So that was probably the biggest one. We also, now that we've implemented, we're rolling over into compliance. So now we have to come up with our what is called the container contamination minimization. And what that is in this CAP, the town had to identify how we were going to show compliance and how we were going to make sure that the town was complying and reaching the goals. So we identified that we're going to be doing waste evaluations. We're going to be doing those twice per year. We had to identify the seasons in accordance with the regulations as to when we were going to be doing those, which will be in fall and in spring. So this fall will be our first waste evaluation that we're going to do. And then we'll be, of course, keeping track of all those records from all of those waste evaluations that we have. The other one was container labeling requirements. A lot of the new carts that you've seen that have come out, of course, the colors changed in addition to the labeling requirements. So there were specific things where you have to have words and pictures listing what is accepted, what is not accepted in each cart. So that was another big one. We had to explain what our program was for rolling that out, make sure that that was happening. Of course, all the education and outreach, a lot of education and outreach we've been putting through, with flyers being mailed out to residents and businesses. Our website has been created with an organics page directly, a lot of social media posts, flyers. We've done a lot for not only the organics recycling, but also the edible food recovery component as well, because we have to work with what's called Tier 1 and Tier 2 food generators and let them know what their responsibilities are for recovering certain amounts of food. They have to provide us with those tonnages. We have to then report that to the state. So that's a whole nother component of 1383 that the town has to maintain and manage. Finally, there's a couple of other items, recovered organic waste procurement, and also the fact that we have to purchase recycled paper purchases. So the town has started purchasing all of its copy paper is recycled content paper. Also, a majority of our janitorial supplies, such as toilet paper, toilet seat covers, paper towels, are also at least 30% recycled content. We also have to provide that information and submit that to Cal Recycle as well. And then on top of all of that, we have extensive record-keeping requirements for all of these items. So in fact, I just had a conference call with Cal Recycle this morning, and they were talking about how they are going to be coming out and they're going to be looking at our implementation record. So they're going to want to see all of our records that we have in place for all of these different programs. So what this staff report is really all about is the fact that on June 28th, 2024, the town received a letter from Cal Recycle notifying staff of the successful completion of the corrective action plan and the conclusion of the related oversight period. So that was good news for staff, that we were able to complete all of our tasks in the time that we had identified, and that Cal Recycle acknowledged that. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Again, the recommendation is just receive and file this notice, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them following public comment.
Okay. Is there any public comment on our waste program, Cal Recycle notice of the town's successful completion? No. Anything online? No. Okay. So I have no questions. Go ahead.
Jessica, just one question on the waste inspections that you've talked about that we do in the fall, that'll be coming up. Who does that? Do we have staff ourselves, or do we contract for that? I mean, that's quite an undertaking. Do you sample it like an audit, or everybody gets checked? I mean, I don't want to see how we do it, the scope.
It's going to be performed by Burtech. And what the plan is right now is they are going to go into certain routes and pull the contents of the carts from certain houses. They're going to be keeping track of all of that, and then they're going to be taking it back, going through it, seeing what is contaminated, what's not contaminated. And then if there is contamination found, then the whole area will get basically a reminder, like, hey, this goes in the trash cart, or this goes in the recycling cart, this goes in that. And so it's kind of a broad waste evaluation. And then if we see that we start having issues in the same area over and over, then we're going to narrow it down to maybe a street or maybe just a few houses, and then kind of narrow it down and then send actual compliance letters to them.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you very much.
All right. Anybody else? Just receive and file then. Thank you. Town resident report on measures Y and Z. You can lead us in that, Shane?
We should have Jordan joining us here online, so we'll give staff a minute to get her pulled up on the screen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Hopefully you can all hear me well. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
I can see you all. I hope you're doing well this evening. I just have a brief presentation of the upcoming town resident report on measures Y and Z. This report has been prepared by town staff across many departments with the help of the town's communication consultant, Pepe Smith. The report is in its final printing stage and will be distributed to town residents via mail to provide a comprehensive overview of Measure Y and Measure Z over the past 7 years. So before I share my screen with the report, just to walk you through a few of the highlights on it, wanted to share my perspective since I don't get to talk about like non-finance reports very often. I was reviewing the report again today to prepare for the meeting and considered how the town, we regularly report on the results of Measure Y and Z to council and to the Revenue Measure Oversight Commission. Over the past 7 years, I've done those for 5 years now. Most of them are financial, including the budget reports, annual audited financial statements, and the agreed upon procedures that our auditors do. But even I can admit that those are really dry and deal with just numbers most of the time, so they don't communicate well on the true results of what has actually happened. So in my opinion, this report will do a much better job of communicating to residents the various projects, programs, and services that both Measure Y and Z have provided the community. So with that, I'll share my screen and just walk through the report. It's also in the printed agenda, and I believe a copy was provided to council by town manager. I'm gonna steal the screen here. All right. Perfect. So just briefly sampling the report, it begins with kind of an overview of
Jordan, hang on just a sec. There, now we've got your screen. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the cover of the report. As you scroll down, the first page is just an overview of kind of where Measures Y and Z started. It details that they're each a 10-year resident voter approved measure. It recaps what the past 7 years have accomplished and kind of the timeline for both measures and how they were approved, etc. So it goes through that whole process. It jumps over to Measure Y. It reports the segments of the ballot measures 3 priorities, which, as we're all very familiar, is public safety, infrastructure, and quality of life. This first page here details public safety. It summarizes case data, crime reduction, and program highlights, and a very cute picture of the station's K9 unit there. It jumps over to the infrastructure and quality of life programs on the second page. The Measure Y funded infrastructure projects are highlighted with the major contribution to the town's annual street maintenance costs, as well as the more recent park projects such as the Essex Park Improvement, North Park Project, and the current Old Town Beautification Project. Lastly, the quality of life program is summarized with a focus on the various expansions of the Senior Center program. It highlights the membership that Sue just commented on with over 600 members, the expanded activities and facility improvements. If you go to this next page here, it has a lot more of that data. It also touches on how Measure Y provided funding during COVID-19, and it also lists the major partnerships that we've worked with over the past 7 years and how much funding has been distributed to each year for those partners. Finally, there's a financial outcomes, which provides simple data graphics summarizing in dollars how much of each of these programs have cost each year, demonstrating a total financial contribution of $9.4 million of additional town programs and projects year to date for this, up to year to date. So there will be even more for this final fiscal year. The Measure Z portion of the report is brief due to the simplicity of the measure, which does not diminish its effectiveness. Measure Z reduction of annual sewer assessment costs is described and highlighted, along with the various transparent reporting requirements of the measure, such as the Revenue Measure Oversight Commission members here, and how often the financial audits are required, etc. Lastly, this is the last page. The town's Measure Y maintained street list is included, which, if I counted correctly, is 110 streets in total on this page here. I would just want to mention, lastly, this report was a comprehensive effort by the town's public works, clerk, finance, community service departments, and as a result of all of their tracking over the past 7 years to kind of compile all that data, give it to the consultants to make this really great report for the residents, which will hopefully continue in the years ahead. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen and answer any questions at the public comment.
Any questions from the public? Anybody online? Any questions from the council? Let's start down at this side. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make one comment on it. We've talked a lot of times about Measure Y and Z benefits to the community. I wanted to give a shout out and thank you to the Oversight Commission members that monitor this program. They're residents of our community. They understand the issues that we deal with and how that money is disseminated to the different programs of the public safety, the infrastructure, and our quality of life. So it's been a benefit, and I'm very thankful for their hard work. They're the ones that bring the final decisions to us, and I've always been in alignment with their knowledge and the decisions that they've made. And it was shown tonight on all the projects we were able to bring forward. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Good. Yeah? All right. It's just a really great example of how a little bit of tax money makes a big difference in the community. It was a 1 cent sales tax rise for 10 years, and it really has made a big difference, split between the town and the water district. And it's made a huge difference in our community over the years that it's been in action. So thanks everyone and I really like that flyer. I think it's going to explain it really well to the public. I think it's something that's not often well understood, but kudos to whoever came up with all the graphics and the charts. It seems to be very self-explanatory. Okay. I guess that's a receive and file, huh? So here we are. We've made it to the end. No. It's future agenda items. Anybody have future agenda items? No? Quiet night? Okay. This is the time for public comments. The town council takes this time to consider your comments on items of concern which are not on the agenda. When you are called to speak, please state your name and community of residence. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Inappropriate behavior which disrupts or disturbs or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting will result in forfeiture of your public comment privilege. The town council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussion items not on the printed agenda. So is there anybody in the public wishing to have a public comment on any item at all? Please come to the podium, state your name and city of residence.
And to clarify, I can speak regarding anything that...
Anything at all.
Perfect. My name is Casey Kuhlman. I've been a resident of Yucca Valley for 8 years. I'm also the senior pastor of Calvary Baptist Church here in Yucca Valley. And I want to begin by just stating that our family is really excited about the upgrades to the parks here in our city, as well as the aquatic center being built soon. As a father of 7 children that range in age from 3 to 14, we visit these parks often. So we're really excited about the upgrade, and especially about the indoor basketball court, a part of the aquatic center. It'll be nice to have a place that's shaded, that's air conditioning. Don't have to put up with the wind of blowing the dirt our way while we're playing basketball or at the park. Regarding Crestview Drive, that's located only a half of mile from this building. I just want to go on record again that I was present at this meeting, knowing the town council again regarding the neighbors' concerns and genuine concerns for Crestview Drive. I believe I can speak on the behalf of our neighbors, saying that we are primarily concerned for the safety of others. At this moment, there's a large section of dirt, loose dirt, that hugs Old Woman Springs. Paramedics have been stuck there before. I have pictures to prove it. I've brought them here before. And when the next big rain comes our way, it's going to produce real problems for those traveling up Old Woman Springs as well as down Old Woman Springs. And I would just hate to see somebody injured and then come here afterwards, somebody saying, why didn't we do something? So all we're asking is for just the road to be properly maintained. We're not asking for it to be paved in gold. That would be great. We could rename it Lombardo Lane even.
I like
but
that.
we're
Good
just
ring.
really, truly asking for it to be properly maintained, maybe with a tractor every once in a while. Just drivable, as our neighbor expressed before. Drivable so we don't have to drive around the big canyons. Our church has served the community 60 years in Yucca Valley. We have church services every week, people of all ages, including seniors. We, throughout the year, have weddings and funerals, community outreach. We had a school at one time and so forth. And so I just want to go on record saying I'm personally all for widening roads, installing new signs, creating a new city of pickleball courts. But road safety, I think, is for our public safety, and that's a priority. The interest in pickleball, basketball may fade away like the softball, but Crestview Drive will always be here serving our community. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Nice job. Well, good speaker. Okay. Anybody else? Come on, Scotty, it's your chance. No? Nothing to say? Okay. So that's it then. Staff reports and comments?
Sue, would you like to briefly comment on the upcoming concert in the park?
Oh, yes. This coming Saturday, we have a Guns N' Roses tribute band. So come and join us. Gates open at 6:30. Concert is from 7 to 9. So come on out at the Yucca Valley Community Center softball field for the summer concert this Saturday. Hey, if you need to cool off, we have our youth interactive exhibit at the museum still going. Great kids hands-on exhibit from here to there, transportation themed exhibit. And a lot of programs at the pool. So the pool is open 6 days a week. As Councilmember Abel mentioned, we have water aerobics, we have fitness, we have fun, we have swim lessons, a lot of activities going on there, 2 of which I wanted to mention that are new. If you ever watch the show Wipeout, which I really like to watch, we have sort of our tamer fun version of Wibbit Saturday nights, 5:30 to 8. We blow up the Wibbit and the obstacle course, and it's a lot of fun. We also have 2 movie nights coming up in August, the 2nd and the 9th, where we'll be showing movies in the evening at the pool. So the tickets are on sale for those as well. Thank you.
Alex, do you have any comments this evening? Deborah? Captain, any comments this evening?
Just very briefly, Sunday we were hit by a pretty significant storm that really impacted the city of 29 Palms, so I won't go into the weeds as most of the information involves that city specifically, but just wanted to let you know about the coordinated response. It was very impressive. I wish Chief Villarino and Travis were still here. Shout out to them and the fire department. It was amazing to see how many resources they had there quickly. It's one thing for me to brag about my crew and everything that we did, but it was a very collective approach, and I think it's relevant here because we know we can have a natural disaster in Yucca Valley very easily, and the communication was spot on. And just a special shout out tonight to Jessica Rice. As you may or may not know, she coordinates a biannual first responders group, and ironically enough, not too long ago, she had the National Weather Service out to do the presentation. They came down from Las Vegas and talked about what they can do and how they can assist with this, whether it be prediction, updates hour by hour, and that was used in this instance with 29 Palms, where one of those gentlemen or a couple of those gentlemen were part of a text thread giving us regular updates. So we are prepared, and I was very happy with the response. We can always find little things we can do better, but we're in good shape, and I thought it'd be relevant for the council to hear that. So thank you, Jessica.
Let me mention real quick that this morning at the coffee with the mayor, I believe it was Marjorie from Red Cross, said that there's a need for volunteers to help with the cleanup and all sorts of other things going on in 29 Palms. So anybody that's able to, please contact the Red Cross and volunteer. They apparently really got hit bad with the water and created quite a problem for a lot of homeowners. Water and mud right through the middle of their homes, and that's kind of a hard thing to handle. Okay.
Mayor and Council, final comment this evening. As you have been going over your summer schedule, we've gone back and forth on whether there would or would not be a meeting on August 6th. There will be a town council meeting on August 6th. That concludes staff's comments this evening.
Okay, thank you. So, council member reports and comments. Start down here with Council Member Schooler.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to welcome the new staff, Christine, Edward, Ben, as well as the new battalion chief, Travis. Welcome. We look forward to working with you. Did want to ask a question on the CIP. Great report, Alex. It was really good. I know bike lanes are pretty complicated and trails are more complicated than they seem. But are those precluded because they're not in there, or even dirt road maintenance? Is any of that, are we precluded from addressing those kinds of things just because they're not on the document?
No, sir, that does not preclude the council from taking action on new and additional projects.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good reports tonight. Recreation, awesome. Museum, busy. Really, it's good to see all that activity. It's a quality of life picture, and I think we're going a long way to contributing toward that. Jessica, I don't know how you do all those tasks. It's it just seems like a really tedious process, and I'm sure it'll pay off, but it just seems like a really tedious process. And thank you to Jordan for the Measure Y update there, Measure Y and Z. I think the piece, like the mayor said, is a really tasty promotional piece that also explains everything. I hope it gets distributed and read far and wide. Also, would like to just mention that our hearts and prayers go out to the family of Evelyn Conklin, who was passed away in the last couple of weeks. She was the founder of the High Desert Nature Museum. I worked alongside her for a lot of years, and I just think she did a great job, and her legacy lives on in that museum, and I think we've come a long way, but it's good to see that what she started is still doing so well. So with that, that's it for me.
Okay. Councilman Abel.
Yeah, I'd also like to welcome all our new employees and thank them for joining the team. When we have our employees, do we get photos of each employee as in their personnel file and so forth?
We normally do when I had the ID badge program, but unfortunately, when my computer got replaced, that got lost. So I'm currently in the process of finding a new one.
Okay. What I'd like to have, and maybe the council members would like to have too, is eventually, once you get all the photographs, an organizational chart showing all the employees and their pictures and names, because we would like to thank them in person, or we see them working at the park, or around town. We can recognize who they are and then also thank them. So that would be very helpful if we can get that.
I thank you, and also too, I should mention that the Sheriff's Department has been so kind to provide a program that they use, so that will be something that I will be doing going forward.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Also, I'd like to see us perhaps invite the county fire for quarterly reports or updates. Again, thank you, all the first responders, for helping out and so forth. But at County Fire, although they're services that we don't control directly, we have a partnership with them. So if we could have them come on a quarterly basis, that'd be wonderful. Also, I wanted to thank staff for all their hard work. I've seen a reduction in illegal food vendors out on the highways and so forth. I want to thank staff too, because I know they're working on trying to look at ways we can improve the highways aesthetics, reducing the amount of trash that's blown up on the sides of the businesses or in their landscape, dying landscape, landscape that's needs weeding or missing landscape. I know staff's working at trying to take an approach to hold businesses and the aesthetics of our town to a higher standard, and people will tend to rise to the levels of expectation. So again, I want to thank staff. I know they've been working on it. I've met with staff a bit on it, and they give me reassurance that they're working diligently on that. Sometimes what happens is sort of like remember the grocery carts everywhere that were abandoned, and then all of a sudden they're gone and we forget, that was an issue. So when I noticed that the illegal street vendors are starting to disappear. I want to make sure staff knew that I recognize that they're working hard on code enforcement. So appreciate all the work the staff does, and thank you for everyone that attended tonight.
Okay. Councilmember Dennison.
Thank you, Mayor. So first, I'd like to say thank you and congratulations to Christina for accepting the promotion and being part of our Park and Recreations as the Recreation Coordinator. So obviously, great for us to continue with that relationship. And Edward to Public Works, he's gone, but I depend a lot on our Public Works crews, believe it or not. And then Benjamin back there, thank you. It's not always an easy task to keep us visual to the public out there in the world. So we appreciate your help here and taking on this role. Also, it was nice to meet Travis Aguirre today, the new battalion chief up here. We've met Bill Villarino before. I know him personally. I've worked with him, and what a great addition to our community. He's one of those guys that probably could have picked anywhere, and it's similar as the captain's journey before. He has deputies that come out here, and they choose this area, and I'm so thankful. And they seem to say the same thing, that our community is welcoming them to provide public safety, and I can't be happier about that. So, and the talk about the Explorer program coming back to our area is a huge addition. Believe it or not, it gives the kids something to do. It has a lot of value no matter what they do in their life. With that, and also, Captain, thank you for talking about public safety out here and the concerns that you have. You know, it's our sister city out there, and we want to know that you're thinking about everybody in the basin. It's a basin thing, and they did have some challenges out there. But when you talk about the relationship of our public safety partners, so the fire working with the sheriff, and it just seems to work well. And every day it gets better and better, so I'm very thankful for that. Last thing, Sue already mentioned it, concert in the park. I'm going to be there, and hopefully I'll be able to introduce Appetite for Destruction, great name, which is a Guns N' Roses cover band. So that's this Saturday. I hear it's cooling off a bit, so hopefully we can run on the grass and goof off and watch the kids dance up by the stage. It should be a lot of fun, so please join. That's it.
Go ahead. Mayor Pro Tem Droz.
All right, make sure you let Appetite for Destruction know that the town is actually building things and not destroying. So let them know that.
I'm trying to talk about it.
Okay. Anyway, I really have nothing to say, just thank you to everyone, but I do want to thank Jessica. That really stood out tonight because Jessica is always talking trash with us. That's the one thing. But hearing about the weather thing that you're involved in, and I know whenever I have computer problems, I can't open my email or something weird, I call you about that. I don't know where else, you have your fingers in, so thank you for all you do. I can tell you do a lot. And with that, I just want to say have a great 2 weeks. No, is it 2 weeks? 3 weeks till August, our meeting. And I'll see you at the concert in the park. I'll be hosting it in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Very good. Just a couple of quick things, and then I do want to go into a memorial adjournment, and I'll discuss that in just a moment. But I want to say how great the staff is here. It's always been fantastic, and it's so good to see a group of people that support one another and that support the communities around us. And I just want to give a shout out to Brooke for stepping in and taking over for Leslie while she's on vacation. Apparently, I'm Brooke's first attempt at trying to get all the candidate paperwork filed, and it's good. She's on it. She knows what she's doing. We went through it, and it looks like that's going to be an easy process to complete. I just got to get a few things to bring back to her. Wow, the town is really happening and really changing. It's really neat to see all the advancements we've made in our sports activities, our community and services, and the building and the road. I mean, it's just blows my mind. From the time when I first moved here, and it seemed like it took forever to get anything done. And now there's so many projects, you can't keep track of them all. It's just crazy. So I want to thank everybody for their hard work to make this happen. And this evening, I want to take a moment to tell you about the July 16th, 2024 Memorial Adjournment, it's called. This evening, as we close our meeting, we would like to do so as a memorial adjournment in honor of Miss Evelyn Coughlin, who passed away on July 2nd, 2024, at the age of 97. In fall of 2023, we were fortunate to be able to present Mrs. Coughlin with the Town Spirit of Yucca Valley Award, recognizing her many contributions to the town and to the High Desert Nature Museum specifically. As the curator of the High Desert Nature Museum, Evelyn Coughlin moved the museum to its new location, a 3,200 square foot building at the newly built Yucca Valley Community Center in November of 1973. Wow, that's a while back. Evelyn served as curator of the High Desert Nature Museum for 28 years. Many of her contributions to the High Desert Nature Museum are still evident today. Evelyn established the mini zoo, which includes several distinct species, including snakes and lizards. Evelyn's collection was so extensive, she employed a rotating exhibit system, which rotated displays, including gems and minerals, specimens, shells, insects, and birds, nests, and eggs. Her displays also included mounted specimens, including local mammals and birds. Many longtime residents have fond memories of the Glow Room, which is still in use today. Evelyn also proudly displayed rotating exhibits featuring local artists, which is still being done today. On behalf of the Town Council, we wish to extend our heartfelt condolences on Evelyn's passing. Evelyn's vision and her love of nature and the art has been an inspiration not only to museum staff, but to hundreds of thousands of other museum visitors, or hundreds and thousands of museum visitors who have visited the High Desert Nature Museum over the last 60 years. We are confident that her legacy will continue to touch the lives of the community members and visitors to the Morongo Basin for many years to come. Thank you, and we are adjourned. Next meeting will be August 6th, 2024 at 6 p.m. here in the Yucca Room. Thank you for attending and contributing.